What's up guys? My name is Zack and today I am driving a 2016 Alfa Romeo 4C Spider. Behind me is a 1.75 liter turbocharged inline 4 and down below is a 6-speed dual clutch automatic transmission. Now I am super excited to be driving this Alfa Romeo 4C because it is a glorious automobile that I've never featured here on the channel before. The Alfa Romeo 4C is a very interesting sports car because they weren't sold here for very long, really only 2014 to 2020, which in the eyes of the auto industry isn't long at all. But everyone who drives one of these cars absolutely raves about them, and so I'm here today to try to figure out what all the fuss is about. But if you would like to submit your own vehicle, you can head on over to my website, zackprato.com/submit. It's a quick and easy submission form. It takes under a minute to fill out, and I come out to you. Speaking of which, this video was brought to you by Your Garage Mobile Mechanics. No more giving up your weekend waiting around at the mechanic shop. Your Garage has honest, friendly mechanics for all your car service needs, and they come right to your driveway. Servicing Chicago since 2020, visit www.yourgarageinc.com to book your appointment today. But let's get back to that 1.75 liter turbocharged inline 4 behind me. It makes 237 horsepower, which might not blow your hair back just by sound. However, this car weighs only about 2,400 pounds and is built out of a carbon fiber tub, so it's incredibly light for that power. It's also mid-engine, so you get to hear all the nice sounds like this. Oh, wow. Wow. It gets you. Zero to 60 is just north of about 4 seconds, and it's so joyful. The steering, let's just get into the driving feel. It's rear-wheel drive. All right, the steering feel is so direct. I feel like I'm using the head of a needle telling this thing where to go. It feels so light and so fun, and this is what every Miata guy thinks that they're driving. This is what it should feel like, and yet you are in something more bespoke, something more almost personal feeling, I guess. It has that Italian flair with that good old American fun. It doesn't really feel like a car. It feels like a weapon. It feels like a tool. It feels like an archer's bow, or more specifically, the arrowhead. Oh, right into the corner. Woo! And you look back and you just see this big air inlet and you think, yeah. I was so excited to get to driving this car that I forgot to talk about the transmission. It is a dual clutch 6-speed automatic, and that is the only way that the 4Cs came here. It feels like an automated manual, so it does sort of have that kick, little bit of that slippage almost feeling, but it is very, very sporty and very characteristic of other cars in this era, like the Nissan GTR. It has that quick feeling to it, which really helps the supercar feel. With that stuff out of the way, let's talk about the interior. Well, in front of me, I have a completely digital dashboard. Now, I love the look of this. This does feel kind of early 2000s, like Gran Turismo video gamey, but I kind of like that personally. On the steering wheel, we just get the Alfa Romeo badge and we do have paddle shifters around the back, but no forward buttons. Very, very driver focused. You're not worried about the volume or skip track or cruise control. You're just worried about driving. Off to the left, we have a climate control vent and our set and reset buttons. And moving on to the door, we have the latch to get in and out. Oh, and that's pretty much it. Moving into the center, we have 2 climate control vents, an aftermarket radio, and then we have a couple of buttons. So we have our AC, locking, and heated mirror buttons. There are 2 dead switches here as well. Over in Europe, I believe that they would get fog lights. So that's what that would be for, but we don't need them here in America. Down below, we do have our climate controls. Temperature off to the left, fan speed in the center, where to send it off to the right. Then we get the shifter, so you put it into first gear, you have an automatic/manual button, neutral and reverse, pretty self-explanatory from then on out.
but interesting to see the pattern in which it's in. But then we have our power mirrors and window switches, which are so full-on Chrysler, it's hard not to laugh. But that's not the last of that. Off to the right, we have our hazard switch and our drive modes, the DNA system that Alfa Romeo still uses in their current products. D is dynamic, sporty, N is for natural, and A is for basically comfort, efficiency. Then we have the handbrake, and we have a 12-volt outlet, again pulled straight out of a Jeep or Chrysler 200 or name your product. And then we have a cup holder at the back, so we'll do a big friggin' bottle test, but any sports car has failed, and the Alfa Romeo 4C Spider is no different. The seats are not really comfortable. That is one of the downsides of the 4C. They're very, very thin, and even with it pushed up against the bulkhead, there's not a lot of wiggle room. And I'm a big guy that needs wiggle room, and I'm not wiggling here today, so it's not super comfy. And you can cut to the in-car. You have these really high sides, so you have a pretty big blind spot. Just something to note. But we don't have any back seats. We can talk about the trunk. We will talk about trunk space really quick. Here it is. It's not a whole lot. It's not great. There it is. Now we gotta talk about the looks, and I love the look of the Alfa Romeo 4C. How can you not? It's this beautiful Italian sports car. This car is a love poem on wheels. It's a beautiful marigot on a Sunday afternoon, as my grandpa Mike used to always make. However, Grandpa Mike's marigot never did this. Let's get on to my final thoughts. They're nothing but positive. And the one thing I do want to drive home is that the owner of this car owns a bunch of other sports cars. This has been his most reliable car. Now, there is every 3 years, a $1,200 bolt check. Basically, they take the body panels off and just retighten everything, which I've never heard of on any other car, but that is something that you do here on the 4C Spider. But it's impressive to be driving this car and realize how right Alfa Romeo got this car. This might be one of the most perfect roadsters ever. The power is delicious. The styling exquisite. It's low weight, 4-cylinder fun. It's mid-engine, so all of that noise is right in your ear. But these were a lot more expensive than the competition back in the day. Alfa Romeo reliability scared a lot of people, and honestly still scares me today, but according to the owner, it's not something to worry about. Alfa Romeo has always been a very strange brand here in the US. Growing up in the late 90s, early 2000s, we never really got Alfa Romeos until this car. This was my personal introduction to the Alfa Romeo brand back in the early 2010s, because we weren't getting them here. Overseas in Europe, Alfa Romeos have always been around. It's nothing new. But we had them in like the 70s and the 80s, and then they went away, and then they came back, and now they're threatening to leave once again. It's all a bunch of hoopla. But right now, here today, I don't care if Alfa Romeo stays, leaves, or kisses me goodbye. It's all a whisper in the wind. All that matters right now is me, the steering wheel, and the gas pedal. And wherever I point my cursor, this car will go. It's so good. And the owner, Mike, which thank you, Mike, for letting me take out this car, he brought up a good point. This car came to the States as the Lotus Exige was leaving. And so this filled a very Lotus Exige sized gap in the market. And I think it filled it incredibly well. It fills it out. Oh man, the owner is going to need a double XL pry bar to get me out of this car. It's so good. It's the best. It's everything. It's everything. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Huge thank you not only to Mike, but also to Sean and his mobile mechanic business. I don't want to mess up the name or email, so I'm gonna do a little bit of a dub here so you can hear me clearly. But if you need a car fixed or serviced in the Chicagoland area and you don't want to sit in a terrible, stuffy waiting room and drink their horrible coffee, Sean comes to you. So please listen to a word on his business just for a second.
So again, I just want to give a huge thank you to Garage Mobile Mechanics. Like I said, they come out to you if you need an oil change, alternator fixed, whatever it might be. They actually come to you to cut out the middleman. You don't have to wait around at some mechanic shop. You get your weekend back or your day back back, your night back, whatever it is. So please head on over to yourgarageinc.com to book your appointment in the Chicagoland area. I think it'll be hard to go back to the brick and mortar after that.
I hope you guys enjoyed the video, but there's no way in heaven or hell that you are enjoying watching this video as much as I am enjoying making this video. So try your best, but I don't think it's a possibility. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Have a great day. Have a great week. I hope work is treating you well. I hope that long-lost friend texts you. Oh, because I have been kissed by an angel. Goodbye!